How y'all doing? It's your girl, Miss Dina 610, here to give my review of Fantasia for Real, the 6th episode of the 2nd season. So if you want to see my review and see my thoughts on all of this hot chai tea, honey, stay tuned and I'll be right back. Alright, y'all. Alright. So this him week, okay, first of all, let me say I'm sorry I'm late. Again, I'm late. Why am I late? Adina, why are you late? I don't have any logical explanation except for the fact that I'm late. So y'all please forgive me. Will you forgive me? I'm sorry. I do this for the people and I need to have it up when the people need to see it. Okay? This week is the week of all weeks. This is kicking off into the tea of the situation. You know, last week we got to see the papers that were sent to Fantasia, you know, they kind of jump started the whole thing. And this week, honey, we got into the explanation of the papers and what Mrs. Cook was actually asking for. We got into the specifics of the situation and we're about to get into it. So, okay, look. Okay, so first we see Brian going to a friend of his that is a lawyer in Charlotte. And he's asking his friend, okay, so what can we do? You know, what are these papers saying? What is this? You know, what can we do? So his friend was telling him that there is an old antiquated law in North Carolina where the spouse is alienation of affection is the name of the law, and the spouse can sue the person that the other spouse is having an affair with if they can prove without a shadow of doubt that that person is the reason why the affection was sucked out of their marriage, or you know, the love, or that's why their spouse is divorcing them now or wanting to not be with them or whatever. So the tea is that Miss Cook wanted a settlement within 10 days of X amount of dollars, which they did not disclose, or either it was going to go to trial. Fanny could be potentially become a target of the law, is what the friend of Brian's was saying, that you know, that she could really like try to do Fantasia in with this law. So it was just a mess, honey, just a mess. And Brian is hot. He's been hot since we seen him last week. Okay, Brian is he's just disgusted with the whole thing, right? Okay, fine. So then they show Fantasia in Chicago, where that's her first stop for her promo tour, and she's doing radio promo, which is letting them know, you know, after 3 years, you know, reintroducing herself, letting them know that she has a new album out, talking about the new single, whoop de whoop, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Back in Charlotte, we see Brian checking online to see if Fantasia's been in any tabloids or what's being said on the rumor mill about her on the blogs and things like that. And he's trying to figure out what is going on. What is this? We don't want this to get out because we don't have the PR and you know, people to be out there and giving a statement and speaking on Fantasia's behalf and blah 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 blah, right? You know, he was trying to see what was going on. So then he said that the family needed to be alerted and made aware of the situation, because if it became, you know, got in the wrong hands and got out in the media, that, you know, if the media or photogs or whoever would catch the family members, they would start asking the family members questions about what was going on with Fantasia. And he did not want that to happen. He did not want them to kind of get hemmed up, so to speak, you know, and kind of pushed into the corner and have to talk about it. So he went to Bunny and Diane and discussed with them, you know, that Fantasia got the papers or whatever, which I'm sure, you know, they knew or whatever, but that she had gotten these papers and what had happened and what Mrs. Cook was, you know, in search of. Bunny and Diane began, like, when they leave from Brian talking about the situation or whatever, they start talking amongst themselves about the situation, and Diane just expresses how she's frustrated and annoyed and amazed, and just, she was like, shall I go on, you know, about how I really feel about this. And of course Bunny hit it, you know what I'm saying? Bunny hit the nail on the head, honey. Bunny went off. And I think Bunny went off before her and Diane started talking about it. So Bunny was kind of like, you know, this is what it is, and this, that, and the other. And Diane is like, yeah, Bunny prophesied that this was going to happen, that, you know, if, you know, if something other than what Fantasia was telling them, or something other than what Mr. Cook had said was the truth, you know, wasn't the truth, then it was going to come to the light. And that's basically all Bunny was saying. And so Diane was just putting it in terms of prophesied it. Okay, so Bunny just hit the roof, honey. I can't even do any impersonations this week. This episode was so serious, honey. It was so deep. I'm sorry. This week was just so, I'm talking about Bunny, she hopped. You see what I'm saying? Bunny hopped, okay? And she just went on off, honey. The whole episode really was based around, the papers and making sure that the family was aware of what was going on, blah, blah, blah. And you got a little bit of Fantasia talking about her promo tour or whatever, but most of it was centered around, oh my God, what are we finna do? What is finna happen? What is finna go on? So, Brian, Bunny, and Diane are having a powwow and discussing, what's going on, the situation, how did it get here, and blah 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 blah. Y'all know, I'm telling you, you could pretty much feel in what was going on. And Bunny was just, talking about, I knew that man was lying, ain't nobody separated, and blah 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 blah, and she just going on and on and on and on. But later in the episode, she lets Fantasia know that we're here, we're your family, when everybody else runs out on you, we're still family. So Bunny was encouraging to Diane because Diane was about to have a meltdown, honey. Diane was like, yes, honey, she had the ugly face. Yes, she was hurt. And I mean, you can understand that, right? Hey, Bunny was just letting her know, this too shall pass. We're family and we're a unit, and we pray, and God is going to get us through this, and, with prayer and with love and all those things, we're going to pull together and we're going to be all right. It's going to be okay, Diane. It's going to be all right, sugar. And Diane was just worried about Fantasia because she was like, Fantasia's just been through so much. I mean, it's just been so many different things and just so many different episodes and just so much in her life that she didn't need this, at this time. You see Fantasia, she's come back, I guess, home for a little stop or whatever on her promo tour, and she's watching the TV, and doggone Nancy Grace. Okay, I can't stand a Nancy Grace. Now, Nancy Grace will get the news to you, and she'll get it to you. But I'm telling you, Nancy Grace is a hard little something. She like Nancy Grace belongs in the courtroom, which I know that's her background and that's where she comes from and things like that. But Nancy Grace she's like a different kind of somebody. She's very confrontational, and I don't know. But anyway, so she was on the TV talking about some, of all the men in the world, why does she have to have somebody else's husband? Shut up, Nancy Grace. Because you don't even know what happened. That's why I can't stand the media now. That's why I won't go off on a tangent. But the point is I can't stand the media. I can't. Because they always hyping up something. You know what I'm saying? Making it look like it's bigger than it is. And judge. And then the things that need coverage, they don't cover that. But all the big, they running around here last summer talking about, you gonna get bit by a pig, you gonna die, swine flu, you gonna die. Okay, so who talking about the swine flu now? Has anybody heard anything about the swine flu? I thought it was me. Okay, so anyway. Shout out to Nancy Grace. Okay, Fantasia's just watching this with her head in her hands, like, how did it get to this? They got clips of Fantasia on there, pictures of her and Antoine Cook, which, by the way, were out last year, okay? The pictures was out last year. So I'm still trying to figure out why Paula is just now getting on the train. Well, whenever this happened, you know what I'm saying? Why was Paula just getting on the train? Boo, she was all out in public with his name tattooed all up in this area, up in this region here. I mean, this was like last year. Everybody knew she was dating a married man. Okay, so check mark for Paula. After she seen the news, the way that they did it on the show, after she seen the news with Nancy Grace, she barricaded herself in her room for 3 days, in the guest room of her home for 3 days, and she barely ate, she barely spoke, she barely came out. And this is what broke my heart and made me feel extra bad for her, extra bad. Was that this all happened, the papers came and all of this stuff the Friday before Zion's 9th birthday. That sucks monkey balls. Because she had planned this big thing for her daughter for her birthday. Her the party and stuff for her daughter's birthday. And for her to get those papers that Friday before was just crazy. So nobody thought that she was going to be able to physically come to Zion's birthday party, but she pulled it together, and she went on to Zion's birthday party, which was very, very cute, which is a very great idea. I mean, if I had the money, I would probably do that for my child when I have one, because I ain't got none. But the point that I'm trying to make is that the party was cute, okay? She had like a little safari theme party. Oh, okay. And then your boy was back. Steve from last week, or week before last, when they threw Fantasia's birthday party, the guy, the one that was staring at Brian all kind of cock up to my, hey Brian, how you doing? Him. Yes, go back a couple weeks. The one where I was talking about Spectacular, that was like two reviews ago. Yeah, go back and watch that, how he was looking at Brian. That's all he needed to do, was dim his eyes, spread his bottom lip, and bust out a, what you doing? He decorated for Zion's 9th birthday party, which was very, very nice and very tasteful and very like girly. And her little girlfriends were there and they was partying. And Fantasia was just thinking in her mind, like, what are these parents going to say about me? What have they heard about me? What do they know about me as far as the case was concerned? You know, are they worried about their children being around me? Do they think I'm going to be a bad influence? Do they this, do that? And she's just like having all of these thoughts. And she said nobody thought anything. She said it was just like a normal, you know, like a normal 9-year-old's birthday party. And it just broke my heart. It was just so sad. But it looked like when they got out there to the area where they had the safari and they had the little animals, and it was just too cute. And her little rhinoceros cake, it was cute. I think it was the rhinoceros. So while they're out there at the birthday party, she's talking to Bunny, and Zion brings her a cupcake, and she's just bawling in tears, and she's trying not to let Zion or any of Zion's friends or anybody see her crying, really. And so Bunny's like, well, let's go take a walk. And then that's when Bunny tells her, you know, well, we're family, you know, we're always going to be family, we're always going to have your back, you know, no matter what happens, we're always here, you know, we'll get through this. And so she was crying, and she kind of broke down, and it was just so sad. Oh God, it was so sad. So Brian was telling Fantasia before they left the house that they were going to have to break out a little early to go and talk to the lawyer about the papers. That Mrs. Cook had, you know, sent to Fantasia or whatever. So when Fantasia when they break out or whatever, and then they go to the lawyer's office. And when they go to the lawyer's office, the lawyer, she was kind of stank. Okay, she was cool at first, you know what I'm saying? They came up in there, Brian, the camera crew, and Fantasia came up in there waiting for the meeting. Okay, the lawyer comes in, and she like hugs, you know, Fantasia, talks to her, whatever. And she's like, her stance, honey. She took her stance and looked in the camera, and she was like, by North Carolina, like she trying to win a Miss America pageant. By North Carolina law, I can only speak to my client alone. So you and you have to leave. All she had to do was whip her hair. All she had to was willow on them, okay? That's all she had to do. And I can't do it no more. But you know what I'm talking about. How they, like they in a Pantene Pro V commercial. She ticked me off talking to folk like that. Okay, we understand you the Esquire and all that up in here, but you ain't got to treat these people like this, okay? Talking, and they're getting shots of Fantasia through the blinds and stuff like that, and she's just looking like she ain't hearing jack. You can look at her face and tell that she was not feeling it, she was not hearing it, and it was just one ear out the other. So while they were showing the shots, they were showing Fantasia talking about saying that the lawyer was telling her that Mrs. Cook was saying that, you know, they were still married. You know, they were still living together. They were still sleeping in the same bed. They were taking trips. They were doing things with the children. All of this stuff, while he was maintaining that, he was separated, living in his own space, doing his own thing, so on and so forth, okay? So when they leave the lawyer's office, Fantasia's like really busted up, and she's like, he lied to me the whole time. She's like, I don't feel good. I just want to go home and lay down. And it was just a really, really sad. It was just really, 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 really sad. On the next episode of Fantasia for Real is when they're going to get into the actual suicide attempt, you know, when it all actually went down. Unfortunately, in this beautiful episode, we had no Teeny. We loved, you know, being able to see what really happened and knowing the truth for ourselves. But then again, we want to see Teeny and the antics. It makes us chuckle every week. I mean, that's what we chuckle about, ain't it? Girl, Miss Dina 610, thank you for coming by and viewing this review of Fantasia for Real, episode 6 of the 2nd season. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a little toned down, but this episode was so serious and so emotional and just so, it's almost heart-wrenching. You know? I mean, you know, one would naturally know that if somebody is separated, then there's a good chance that they're still politicking, okay, with their husband or their wife. I will do it right after the show goes off, because she finna tell Antoine Cook, I don't never want to see you no more. So I will see y'all next week. Peace and peace. Bye.